Hi, I'm with LG and we're here in San Francisco. I know it's a tough job, but someone's got to do it. I'm here to get a good hands-on look at their W7 signature flagship OLED TV. And the W7's big selling point is it's a wallpaper OLED. In other words, it's so thin, mere millimeters thick, that when it's attached to the wall, you wouldn't even know there was a TV there. It's just like a piece of wallpaper. It actually uses a dedicated bracket, and when that's flush against the wall, you hook the TV on at the top here and use magnets at the bottom to keep it in place. And it basically, you wouldn't even know there was a TV against the wall. And it actually has a feature called Art Gallery where it shows views such as a rainy day or a sunny day, or pieces of artwork by Monet or Van Gogh. And basically it becomes a feature in the lounge even when you're not watching TV. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, well, if it's only millimeters thick, where are the speakers? Where's the processing? Where are the connections? Well, those are all in this. This is the all-in-one box. It's basically a big soundbar. And at the back are the connections, 4 HDMI inputs, 3 USB ports, twin tuners, and also some legacy inputs as well. All the processing is built into this, all the amplification is built into this, and it has forward firing drivers here, and then 2 upward firing drivers, one here and one there, because this is also a Dolby Atmos soundbar. So when you turn the TV on, the upward firing drivers come out of the chassis, and then when you turn the TV off, they go back inside again. There's also a little bit of music that plays whilst it's doing that, gives the whole thing a bit of theatre. So Dolby Atmos soundbar, which means that you get sounds being fired upwards, bounce off the ceiling, down onto you to give the impression that there are speakers overhead. I actually did test the sound performance on this. I have to say it wasn't that impressive, but in fairness, the room it was being tested in wasn't great. The ceiling was quite high and it wasn't very solid, so it wasn't really getting a chance to bounce sounds from above. But what it did lack was bass. There's no Sub Woofer that comes with this TV, so the bass performance was a bit lacking compared to other Atmos systems that I've heard. However, in terms of picture performance, very impressive indeed. Now, I did test this TV using a Klein K10A, the Mudio 6G pattern generator, and also Calman calibration software. And the out-of-the-box performance for SDR was very good. A bit too much red in the grayscale, but once I calibrated that using the 2 and the 20-point white balance control, and a very, very accurate grayscale and a very accurate gamma. And the colour performance was also very accurate, which is good news because, as with last year, the CMS doesn't particularly work very well, so best to avoid that. But once I calibrated the grayscale, I actually had a very accurate colour performance, that really good tracking across 25, 50, 75 and 100%. That's with SDR performance. With HDR performance, also very impressive. The grayscale again was tracking nice and evenly across the entire scale, and it tracked the PQ EOTF very closely as well. And in terms of the colour performance, it tracked Rec 2020 and it also tracked DCI P3 within Rec 2020 very closely. So we had a good SDR and a good HDR performance in terms of colour and grayscale accuracy. And also they've made some tweaks this year to the performance. So watching content on it and using some test patterns, I could see that there was a definite improvement in terms of detail just above black on this panel than previous years, than last year's, for example. Also, it's a little bit brighter than last year, although, I mean, in its calibrated mode, calibrated HDR mode, I was getting about 650 nits. It can go higher than that, can go up to nearly 1,000, but that will only be in the vivid mode, which is very inaccurate in terms of its colour performance and grayscale. But certainly, you do get a bright picture in the accurate calibrated mode, good colour accuracy, great performance against the PQOTF. So you had a really good SDR performance and a really good HDR performance as well. In terms of other features on this TV, well, it uses WebOS, of course, the latest version, WebOS 3.5. And they made a few tweaks this year, but basically it's the same robust, responsive, intuitive platform that we're used to using, and we really like it. Now, this TV will retail for around £8,000. But if you don't have £8,000 to spend on an OLED TV, the good news is that the picture performance of the W7 is the same across the entire range. So whether you get a B7, a C7, an E7, a G7 or a W7, you'll get the same picture quality. The differences between those models are purely cosmetic. That's what you're paying for. And that's great news because it means even if you buy an entry-level B or C, you're still going to be getting a fantastic picture performance. Now, if you're a gamer, there's even better news because the input lag on the E7 that I measured was 21 milliseconds. That's both for SDR and HDR gaming in the game modes for both of those formats. So that's great news. You've got a nice low input lag, you've got an accurate picture, you've got a great picture performance, and you've got a built-in Atmos soundbar as well. That's the W7. Obviously, there are options as well. You can go for the B, the C, the E, or the G instead. And I think LG need to be competitive this year because obviously there's a lot more competition than there has been in the past. Now you've got Sony, Panasonic, and Philips all joining the OLED market, and that means LG need to raise their game. And I certainly think they have this year and delivered a fantastic range of OLED TVs. And I'm really looking forward to getting the other models in for full review back in the UK later in the year. Thanks for watching.